Are you trying to do something and it's just not coming together and you're really frustrated? Well, today I'm going to be talking about the art of rehearsal. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. If you want to connect with me more, you can find my social media links in the show notes below as well. Now, I wanted to talk about this because I see this mistake with and I've made this mistake many times with my emotions and my mentality and learning skills. And when I started comparing it to going to the gym and losing weight, it was like it was like a game changer for me. Now, what I want to talk about is like when we're like, right, I've meditated today for the first time. Oh, it felt good. You try it a couple more times. It's like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. You've tried like meditation 3 times. Now, I'm not saying you need to meditate, by the way. This is just an example. But like, if you compared that to going to the gym, and perhaps you put on a few pounds, right? Maybe gone on summer holiday and it's all inclusive. But I'll use this rather than Christmas because we're in the summer right now while we're in the UK. You go on holiday and then you put on like a few pounds, right? And then you go, right, I'm getting back and going to the gym. Great intention set because I want to feel healthy. I want to feel good. I want to feel energetic, right? And, I want to treat my body with respect. Fantastic. Rather than hating your body. That's always a positive way to look at it. Then you go to the gym once and you're like, okay, I feel sore. And you go a couple more times, you're like, why have I not lost all this weight? You wouldn't, would you? Because you realize that it's going to take time and consistency to go to the gym regularly or even work out, whether you go to the gym or not, to get into shape. Well, the same is with any other skill or emotions. Yeah, I found I've forgotten this many times. It's like, well, I've been doing breath, like I remember like going for a really challenging spell in my life. I think it was like a breakup a few years ago. And I was doing like, I just started like Googling all this stuff, like really upset. Maybe you can relate to this. Or sometimes even any kind of relationship, like a hardship with a friend or something like that. But yeah, particularly in like a breakup or dating relationship situation, and I was just like really upset. So something this breath work, and I was like, did it like once or twice. It's like, okay, that felt good, and I'm like, this breath work stuff's not working. I'm still upset. Well, that's the first time I really experienced it, and then I kind of didn't do it for a few years. Now I'm just certifying as a practitioner in breath work actually. But I do breath work pretty much every day, and I feel the benefits of it because I do it consistently now, as opposed to starting off, right? And we forget this. We're like, oh, this doesn't work. When actually, if you look at the top athletes in the world, why are they good at what they do? Not because they do it once or twice or for a week. They do it for months and years on end, right? They're just consistent. Now, practice is when we do something again and again. That is amazing. That's going to give you results rather than just doing it once or twice, like losing the result. What's rehearsal? Rehearsal is doing something again and again and enjoying it and making the process fun. Because the more likely we are, the more fun we can make it and enjoyment we can get from it, the more likely you are to do it again. Ask yourself, have you been guilty of doing something once or twice and being like, this isn't working, this isn't for me? Well, I've certainly been in that boat as well. Now we're going to talk about how you can move forward with this. So here are just some simple steps, and don't try and make it over complicated. And that's going to be one of the things. Just pick maybe an area of your life where you really want to work on. Particularly maybe your emotions, you're feeling really down. So it's like you're going to pick something that you can do again and again to really work on it, whether that's journaling or breath work, whatever. The first one, I'll go through these and I'll give an example. So what's your outcome? Where do you want to go? You don't know where you're moving unless you have a target to move towards. And your target is not where you don't want to be. It's like if you go to the train station and say, they say, where would you like a ticket to? Great question, right? Yeah, I want a ticket to, I don't want to be here. They're going to look at you blankly. Well, that's exactly what you do when you say you don't want this, this, and this. Where do you want to go? So that's the first thing. I always start with this very regularly in my podcast as well, because it's so important. People just do not focus on where they want to go enough, right? So the first thing, where do you want to go, right? Like habits, right? What can you do to make something super, super simple and easy? Simple habit that you can do every day. a weekly or daily habit, or maybe one of each, right? Something you can do very regularly, right? A ritual, then how do you make it into a ritual slash system? This is when you make it part of like your day to day, right? Doing something on repeat, yeah, that's great. But actually make it into a system or a ritual is going to make it part of you. Because we have like a ritual every day, which includes before we wind down to bed, we brush our teeth, for example. Or when we get up, we brush our teeth, maybe wash our face, do our hair if we need to, and then get out, right? And do whatever else you do with that. And then the fourth point is celebrate, because the more you celebrate and feel good, that is the art of rehearsal. And the more likely you are to do it again, rather than be like, oh, I've got to do this. I get to do this and be excited about it. So let's use an example, right? Going through those 4 steps. Okay, outcome. Emotionally, right? I'm feeling miserable. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling sad. Right. What do you want to do? Right. I want to feel excited and joyful. Now, obviously, let's be honest. We're not going to be 100% excited and joyful all of the time in our lives, but we can strive to be to as close as that as possible, right? Obviously, events are going to come into our life, right? So that's the outcome. I want to wake up excited so often. The second thing, right, what's a habit I could do on a daily basis? Maybe it's a bit of breath work, for example. That's one of my favorite tools, so I'm using an example. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's just like 5 minutes of meditation to begin with, all right? And then what's a weekly one? Maybe it's a weekly, you sit down with yourself and get really honest about like where you are and what you need to do, right? And then a ritual, how do you make that as part of you? Well, breath work, maybe as soon as you get up, you get onto like your yoga mat, and then you start like doing some breath work. Maybe every week you have an alarm, you have an appointment, you block it off to do your journaling. So that's part of your ritual. And then you celebrate it, like, and you make that part of your ritual as well. You schedule in, you can even write into your Google Calendar, like I do, to celebrate as well. Now, I've got an extra point that I want to share with you as well. Just want to mention again, though, that if you want to connect with me even further, you can find my links to social media, links in the show notes below if you want to connect further with me and follow more of my content. The final point is log your progress. I always find before and afters are really important, or well, before and continual, because it's always an ongoing journey, our growth and working on ourselves, right? So like what I do sometimes, like if it's emotional, for example, is say like emotionally, how am I scoring myself right now? Very simply out of 10. So maybe I was started off something, I'm like 5. I'm just feeling a bit depleted, but there's a bit of hope in my life. Not particularly enjoying things, but I could do. Like sometimes things are okay. So maybe I give myself a 5 out of 10. And then each week I'm like, okay, I've been doing breath work or meditation each day, or maybe it's exercise, whatever it is for you. And then like weekly, I've been checking in with myself and journaling. So then what I would do each week is give myself a score each week. And then I keep like measuring that, because then that's indicating to you the evidence of the changes you're putting in place. I've done that with certain supplements I've taken, like things like vitamin B, vitamin D, omega-3s, that we can be depleted from, particularly me who follows a dominant vegan diet. I've like logged, okay, what was my focus, what was my energy before I started taking these supplements, and then what was it each week when I'm taking these, because that's really shown me progress and shows my brain demonstration that rehearsing things and doing things again and again with enjoyment is creating results, especially to that logical mind that will try and like find faults in lots of things, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives by working on yourself as well. And remember to lead with your heart, not with fear.